Welcome back. In today's episode, we follow Auditor Yardley Ski as he films a social experiment outside a police station, calmly explaining his purpose to a sergeant and an officer who approach him. Instead of easing the situation, the officers escalated, detaining him under the Terrorism Act without any legitimate grounds. Yardley, confident in his rights, challenges their actions and later takes legal action, ultimately receiving a payout for the unlawful detention. It's a sharp reminder of how quickly authority can be misused and why public awareness of legal rights matters in moments like these. You good there? Yeah.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just concentrating on the filming.
Okay.
Yeah, can I just take your numbers, please? Are you filming me?
We are, yeah.
Yeah, you are now. Yeah,
with you and
okay. Yeah. Can I?
You can take the numbers, mate. 3406.
Thank you very much.
We've only come out.
Can I take your number, please?
3026, and I'm the sergeant, Scott Manning.
You're the sergeant. Okay, thank you very much. It's a social experiment that I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Explain exactly what that means.
Well, I don't have to explain. I mean, don't answer me like that. I mean, if we can have a conversation.
Can I ask you what your social experiment is then, please?
Okay. Well, there's been some abuse around people filming in public, and the police have abused powers. It's to see what sort of interaction I'm going to get by doing a legal activity. Yeah.
Okay. Do you not see, from the point of view of the police officers, that the vulnerability for us when we're coming in and out, and so not everyone's going to know who you are.
Fair enough.
And immediately that's going to maybe cause them some concern. Do you not think you have some sort of civil duty to try and sort of help the police to be able to feel a little bit more comfortable coming in and out of the police building?
Okay.
When the officer insists that the situation is of vulnerability simply because he doesn't recognize the auditor, he exposes a deep misunderstanding of how public spaces and public rights actually work. In reality, no one is required to identify themselves to police just for recording in an open, lawful area, and officers can only request personal details under very specific legal conditions that clearly weren't met here. Calling a peaceful cameraman a potential threat turns ordinary observation into manufactured suspicion. The officer then goes a step further, implying that the auditor has some sort of civic responsibility to make police feel at ease, which reverses the very principle of accountable policing. The public isn't obligated to modify perfectly lawful actions to accommodate an officer's comfort level. It is the officer's responsibility to uphold the law impartially and respect the rights of anyone exercising their freedoms in public.
If what I'm doing is legal,
I haven't asked you if it's legal.
No, but if it's legal, it's not a matter of what you just said to me. It's a legal activity, so therefore I can do it. So by your explanation to me, it makes sense, but it's also a legal activity, so you've got to respect that I can do it.
At no point have I said that you can't.
No, I know you haven't,
so I asked you a
but that's the
question,
conversation, and it'll go round.
You refuse to answer that. You don't feel that you've got.
Do I have to answer it?
No.
Well, I've just given you my answer. I just said to you that because it's a legal activity and I can do it, from what you just said, negates it being a legal activity. If it was unlawful, then you can turn around and say, oh, do you know what, we're scared because you're doing something which isn't unlawful, you'd come and arrest me. But because it's legal, I can understand the concern. Don't get me wrong, I'm not being antagonistic, right, or anything like that. Yeah, of course I can understand the concern, but because it is legal, the concerns doesn't outweigh my right.
In the UK, the right to record in public isn't a grey area. It's protected both by long-standing common law and by Article 10 of the Human Rights Act, which upholds freedom of expression. Without reasonable suspicion connected to a genuine offense, an officer's personal concern, no matter how sincere, cannot legally justify stopping someone, detaining them, or demanding their identity. A sergeant's responsibility is not to follow a gut feeling but to apply the law with precision and restraint. In this moment, the auditor actually demonstrates a better grasp of the legal boundaries, calmly recognizing the officer's concerns while standing firm on his rights. That balance is what makes the interaction so telling. He isn't creating conflict, he's reinforcing the legal limit on police authority. And the sergeant's resistance to acknowledging that limit reveals a deeper problem, an approach to policing shaped more by personal comfort than by lawful conduct.
So therefore, you're talking to me, and that's what you're supposed to do. If you want to turn around and say, oh, we want to try to figure out what you're doing and stuff like that.
That's what we're doing.
No, that's just what I'm trying to say to you, then that's fine. And if that's the case, and you've figured out that I'm doing a legal activity, then that should be the end of the conversation, really. I mean, you can come, you can give your opinion, you can tell me whatever you want to tell me, but all I'm going to say to you is, I ain't doing nothing wrong.
I get that's what you're saying. We're just asking you why you're not doing anything wrong.
Because it says so, it's a law.
No, you've said
Well,
you're doing a
the law-
social experiment. We've said what sort of experiment you're doing. That's all we've asked you.
No,
there's a lot of things. There's a lot of
Hold
things
on.
that are not legal.
Hold
I
on.
could listen a second. I could go home.
No, actually, I don't have to listen a second, but I'll let you
But
carry on.
I thought you said we're having a
No,
conversation.
I'll let you carry on. Well, it's
That's
not.
how
It's not a conversation with consent. You guys have come up to me to stop me filming legally, and then you're
But we
trying
don't-
to
we don't
say
know that
stuff
until
to
we
me.
speak to you.
Okay, but now you're trying to put your opinion onto me, which isn't what.
You said we're having a conversation.
Yes,
Conversations go two ways.
I know you've explained this is a social experiment.
Yep.
We've got no way of actually testing that.
The auditor has been completely straightforward about what he's doing, calm, transparent, and filming openly in a public space without any attempt to conceal his intentions. That level of clarity should have resolved the interaction immediately. Instead, the sergeant flips the script, acting as if the auditor now has to convince them that his lawful activity is legitimate, essentially saying, "We don't have to accept your explanation." But that is not how policing works in the UK. Citizens are not required to prove innocence just to be left alone. It is the police who must establish reasonable suspicion before they interfere. What makes the exchange even more troubling is the suggestion that even full transparency isn't enough. The auditor voluntarily stated his purpose, something he wasn't legally obligated to do, yet the officer treats that openness as irrelevant and pushes forward on nothing more than doubt. That's where the issue becomes clear. This isn't about safety, it's about power being exercised through what-if scenarios rather than evidence, leading to biased decision-making and a disregard for the rights the law is meant to protect.
Really?
Well,
Yeah,
the
this
way
is
that
your
you're
opinion,
testing
and
it.
The fact
Okay,
that
let
this
you finish
is
first.
the fact that this is quite a vulnerable premises. The police officers coming in and out. Quite recently, we've had quite a lot of attacks and people that have been attacked coming in and going out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to detain you for the purpose of the search,
Okay.
using the powers of the Terrorism Act.
Okay. Before you do that, can I just ask you to look in my backpack, in the pocket, in the back pocket, yeah? And there's a bit of paper in there, yeah? It's a NCPP police advice in regards to Terrorism Act.
Okay, well, we're
yeah?
not searching.
No,
I'll find
I'm
that. So
just
what I'll
saying,
do
it's got the
is I've
Terrorism Act.
explained the
Okay,
reason
if you want to
behind
search me,
why.
that's fine.
If
That's
I've
fine.
explained the
Okay.
reason behind why I'm going to search.
Well, I don't agree to it, but okay.
I'll
What
explain
can I
the
say?
power. Could I
Can I answer
just explain what I'm going to explain and you can talk to me after?
Okay, fair enough. Yep.
You're detained for the purpose of search, which means you can't leave at the moment. You're not under
Fair enough.
arrest.
Okay, yeah.
You can't leave until I've completed my search. When I've
Fair enough.
finished, I'll fill out a stop slip, which will have all the powers listed on it and the reasons behind why.
Okay.
Okay, do you understand all of that?
I believe it's an unlawful search.
Well, I didn't ask you what your opinion was. I'm asking you, do you understand all of that? No? Okay, fine. Okay, I think I'll ask you to just take that.
Yeah,
for a
can I just
moment,
put this
please.
on the floor then, please?
Yeah, it's fine,
Yeah?
it's fine.
Even after the auditor clearly explained what he was doing and demonstrated no threat whatsoever, the sergeant chose to detain him under the Terrorism Act, a power reserved for situations involving genuine, evidence-based suspicion of terrorism, not for stopping a citizen with a camera carrying out a peaceful social experiment. The rationale offered is flimsy at best, pointing more toward an overextension of authority than a lawful policing decision. But it's the sergeant's next remark that truly reveals his attitude. When the auditor calmly asserts, "I believe this is an unlawful search," the sergeant replies, "I didn't ask you what your opinion was," a response that goes beyond dismissiveness and signals a disregard for the public's legal protections. It suggests he views the auditor not as a rights-holding member of the public but as an inconvenience to control. Using such a serious piece of legislation without proper grounds is a significant misuse of power, and in this case, it did not go unchecked. Later on, I'll show exactly how much Yardley received as compensation for this unlawful detention.
I believe that I've just been unlawfully searched.
Right.
Yeah, under section 43. Yeah, I don't agree with 5 officers having to search me, considering I'm doing a legal. There's a bike. There's a bike. Let me
No
take a
one is
picture of these bikes.
suggesting-
Do you know something? Do you know something? Actually, you've done what you've done. See, listen. 5 of you are standing here, so as far as I'm concerned, you've all searched me.
Okay,
Yeah,
listen.
even though these guys, you were okay in the beginning, so I ain't got
clarify with you
nothing,
one
no
thing
issues
as
against
well.
you. This guy here, he's there telling me that I didn't engage in the beginning, but obviously the video will show differently.
Boss man,
Yeah,
listen to me. I'm
I'm
gonna
not a
call you
boss
boss.
man or
What would
anything
you
like
like me
that.
to call you?
Right, I think that's quite disrespectful.
Okay, what would you
yeah,
like me to call you?
in saying that. Right, yeah, I do want to stop form
What would you like me to
actually.
call you?
And the thing about it is, yeah, you believe that you done illegal activity. I believe that it was an illegal
well,
search.
we'll have to agree
I
to
told you
disagree
about the
on that,
Section
won't we?
43 memo and all that sort of thing. I've got it in my bag to show you. There's nothing that I've been doing. So
no one's suggesting that anything you've done is illegal, because if they
well
did,
then, so all you're doing is trying to get
either
information
you talk or
on
I'll
me,
talk,
which
but if
is
we both talk at
it
the
doesn't
same
matter.
time, it'd be pointless.
Oh
wouldn't it?
well then that's why I wasn't talking earlier on, because I didn't make two of us talking at the same time. Yeah, one person at a
what
time.
What are you doing? You said a social experiment. We said, what's the nature of that? And you refused to engage with us.
Okay.
Anyone can say it's a social experiment. You need to give us a little bit more.
So if that's what you want to do, fine, do it to everybody. If they want to film, it's up to you. It's cool. Whatever.
When the officer claims, anyone can say it's a social experiment, you need to give us a little bit more, he unintentionally reveals how completely the power dynamic has been distorted. The auditor had already given a straightforward explanation. He was filming in public as part of a social experiment, an activity that is entirely lawful and requires no special permission. His explanation was calm, consistent, and transparent. At that point, the officers didn't need more, they needed reasonable suspicion, and they simply didn't have it. By insisting on additional justification, the officer is effectively declaring that a member of the public must satisfy police curiosity before being allowed to continue a legal activity. But that's not how UK law operates. The public has no duty to expand on a lawful explanation just to avoid detention or questioning. Under this logic, basic rights become conditional privileges, dependent on whether an officer is personally convinced. That mindset doesn't just undermine legal protections, it sets a dangerous standard where rights only exist if the police choose to recognize them.
Sir,
It is what it is.
Sir, good?
Oh, do you know something? I'm just like gonna stand here now because it's too many questions.
Could I ask you some questions?
Yes, you can.
Excellent. Okay, so I know that you don't agree with our grounds. Those are our grounds, and they're subjective. They're my grounds, okay? And I've explained them to you. If you want to challenge them, you can. But it's not about you filming. Filming was the reason we come over to speak to you.
Okay.
And then once we've gone into that reason behind why you're filming, this is why I've used those powers.
Okay. So you had credible information that I could be a terrorist.
How would I know?
Or was it just that you came out to
Credible
talk to me?
information?
No. Well, I'm just going to read something to you, which it says in regards.
What name would you like me to record?
In regards to suspicion.
What name would you like me to record on this?
Yeah. What is reasonable suspicion? Yeah. The code explains that reasonable suspicion must be based on objective facts or information. It can never be based on the personal factors alone. Yeah. Okay.
I'm quite happy with that.
Have you got any objective facts?
Yeah.
What are they?
My objective fact is that you was filming outside a police station.
It's illegal. It's illegal.
Which could be.
It's legal.
No, at any point in here,
It's
does it say that
legal.
you've got to be acting illegally.
No, but it's legal for me to film
you're
outside a police
absolutely
station. So why
right.
bother come out?
This is the moment everything pivots, and it's remarkable to watch. When the auditor produces the National Police Chiefs Council guidance on the Terrorism Act, he isn't just defending himself, he's educating the very sergeant who detained him. With steady composure, he cites the section that states reasonable suspicion must be grounded in concrete facts or credible intelligence, not in personal feelings, assumptions, or the simple act of recording in a public place. This isn't interpretation or opinion, it's official guidance issued to police forces across the country. The sergeant's expression makes it clear he recognizes the weight of what's just been put in front of him. He's not being challenged by attitude but by accurate legal knowledge that undercuts his entire justification for the detention. This moment goes far beyond a single search gone wrong. It exposes, in plain terms, that the sergeant's use of counter-terror powers lacked any lawful basis from the start.
Absolutely right.
But why come out then? If I'm doing something which is legal, I'm not arguing. As what you said earlier on, or this officer said, it's a conversation and we've both got a conversation, so it's not an argument. Don't try to twist it, because he's already tried to twist stuff a little bit earlier on.
You're maybe trying to provoke us now.
Not at all. So if that's the case, then I'd advise you guys to go.
Well, once we're finished, we will.
Okay, so I'm not trying to provoke you. I'll zip it, or shall you zip it? Which one?
I don't mind.
Yeah, zipping it.
Right, okay. So you're not going to give us your name? No. You're not going to tell us where you come from? You're not going to try and put the officers inside that building at rest? The person outside is fine, there's no issues with them. All we know is what we see in front of us now. Your civil duty to really help us to try and do the job a little bit better, to make us feel
That's all you wanted. If I would have agreed to that, you would have probably said, "Oh, then no worries."
To make us feel
but because I didn't agree to it, it is what it is, isn't it?
Is that what it is?
The sergeant has already detained and searched the auditor under the Terrorism Act, found absolutely nothing, and yet he continues pressing for personal information, repeating questions like, "You're not going to give us your name? You're not going to tell us where you came from?" By this stage, the issue has moved far beyond reasonable suspicion. It has become a matter of authority and ego. The auditor has more than fulfilled any expectation of cooperation. He calmly explained his activity, presented the NPCC guidance to show he understood his rights, and even complied with an unlawful search without resistance. That should have been the moment the officers stepped back and acknowledged the mistake. Instead, the sergeant tries to shift the blame, appealing to civil duty as though declining to reassure police feelings is somehow grounds for suspicion. It isn't. The auditor is under no obligation to provide emotional comfort to officers, especially after his rights have already been breached. His restraint stands in stark contrast to the sergeant's persistence, highlighting exactly where the misuse of power is coming from.
You're not going to give us your
Like
name?
you just said, if you'd engaged with us from the beginning...
No, it's not
you wouldn't have
engaging.
got this, but
You
wouldn't.
keep on saying about
Sir,
engaging.
So you got
It's
searched.
not engaging. The engagement is that I'm doing something legally and I actually don't have to give all this information out.
You're right, you don't.
Yeah, but if I'm there and I'm acting all weird and stuff like that, that's
you
different.
were.
No, because I didn't answer you. Because I
You
didn't.
gave us
Because I
half an
didn't.
answer and then you didn't give us
Yeah,
an
but that's
answer. You
supposing
won't
that's
give us
how
your
I
name,
am.
you
Supposing
won't
that's
tell us
how
where
I
you come from.
converse.
We don't know who you are, so to
Okay,
set
all right
ourselves
then.
in
Well,
risk
So
that you're
you're not
not...
going to give us your name, is that right?
Correct. I'm not.
No, you're not going to tell us any information about yourself.
Do I need
That
to?
would no, you don't.
Okay,
But
well then that's the end of
would
that's the
help
end of that
us
then.
As a
That's the
police
end of that
force
then.
to feel
That's
very
the end of that then.
reassured.
That's the end
so
of that
you
then.
don't want us to feel reassured.
That's the end of that then.
Okay. Okay, if that's your answer, you don't want us to feel reassured, then that's fine.
All right.
All right. I'm sure you've got what you come for. I'll maybe see you another time. Okay.
He's a tyrant. He is. You're a bully. I'm suing you. Because you're a bully and you're a tyrant, aren't you? I'm suing you guys because you're bullies and tyrants.
Yardley set out to highlight flawed policing tactics, misuse of statutory powers, and the gradual erosion of public rights, and the sergeant ended up proving every point on camera. The outcome speaks for itself. Yardley later took legal action and secured an £800 payout for this exact encounter, a formal acknowledgement that the stop was unlawful from the outset. From the moment the officers approached, their actions were driven by assumption rather than evidence. Yardley clearly explained that he was filming a social experiment, yet instead of evaluating that information with any level of professionalism, the officers dismissed it and pushed for personal details he had no legal obligation to provide. When he reaffirmed his rights, they reacted as though it were a personal challenge, and that's when their composure gave way to a display of misplaced authority. The most serious breach came when they detained and searched him under Section 43 of the Terrorism Act without a single objective factor to justify it: no suspicious behavior, no intelligence, no threat. Even after the search produced nothing, the sergeant continued pressing, asking for his name, demanding to know where he came from, and attempting to guilt-trip him under the guise of civil duty. That is not how reasonable suspicion operates, it's how individual rights are eroded through overreach. Yardley stood firm, countered their claims with official NPCC guidance, and made it undeniably clear that their actions had no lawful basis. And the sergeant's smug parting remark only underscored how little accountability he felt in that moment. This entire interaction is a powerful reminder of why understanding your rights is essential, because when officers forget the limits of their authority, it often falls on the public to remind them. Thanks for joining me for today's breakdown. If you found this analysis insightful, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more.